everyone. I am LC Castor of BSN Filipino 3A. Together with my groupmates, Gian Binibini and John Mark Dorado, we will be presenting to you all the Cone of Experience by Edgar Dale. Edgar Dale was a U.S. educationist who developed the famous Cone of Experience. Dale was a professor of education at university. He made several contributions to audio and visual instructions, including a methodology for analyzing the content of motion pictures. Edgar Dale, an expert in audiovisual education, created a model in his 1946 book, Audiovisual Methods in Teaching, that the name of the Cone Experience to discuss various modalities, channels of imparting information. The Cone of Experience given by Edgar Dale has rightly said that it is not offered as a perfect or mechanically flowless picture to be taken with absolute literalness in its simplified form. It is merely a visual aid to explain the interrelationships of various types of audiovisual materials, as well as in their individual positions in learning process. His cone did not refer to learning or retention at all. Instead, modeling levels of abstraction, words being the most abstract in his model, at the top of the cone, and reality experiences the most concrete and the base of the cone. Dale's Cone of Experience is a model that incorporates several theories related to instructional design and learning processes. During the 1960s, Edgar Dale theorized that learners retain more information by what they do as opposed to what is heard, read, or observed. His research led to the development of the cone experience. The cone was originally developed in 1946 and was intended as a way to describe various learning experiences. Essentially, the cone shows the progression of experiences from the most concrete to the most abstract. The cone experience is a pictorial device used to explain the interrelationships of the various types of audiovisual media, as well as their individual positions in the learning process. The cone's utility in selecting instructional resources and activities is as practical today as when Dale created it. Dale's Cone of Experience is a visual model that is composed of 11 stages, starting from concrete experiences at the bottom of the cone. Then it becomes more and more abstract as it reaches the peak of the cone. Also, according to Dale, the arrangement in the cone is not based on its difficulty, but rather based on abstraction and on the number of senses involved. The experiences in each stages can be mixed and are interrelated that fosters more meaningful learning. According to one of the principles in the selection and use of teaching strategies, the more senses that are involved in learning, the more and the better the learning will be. But it does not mean that concrete experience is the only effective experience that educators should use in the transferring knowledge to the learner. Like what was mentioned above, the experiences in each stages can be mixed and are interrelated. Thus, a balance must be achieved between concrete and abstract experiences in order to cater and address all the need of the learner in all the domains of development, and in order to help each learner in their holistic development. The generalization about the cone of experience that was presented above is not enough. Actually, we should try to go deeper in each of the components of the cone, since educational technology basically involves around the cone of experience. By going one by one, starting from the concrete to abstract, we will understand more the different components of the cone that will help us in grasping and the real meaning of educational technology.
The visual symbolic and verbal symbolic. These two levels are the most complex and abstract among all the components of the cone of experience. In the visual symbolic levels, charts, maps, graphs, and diagrams are used for abstract representations. On the other hand, the verbal symbolic level does not involve visual representation or clues to their meanings. Mostly, the things involved in the level are words, ideas, principles, and formula. Through the levels provided by the cone of experience, it could be said that concrete experiences must be provided first in order to support abstract learning. Lastly, staying on the concrete experience is not even ideal because through providing abstract experiences to the learner, the more he will develop his higher order thinking skills, which is important for more complex way of thinking and for dealing with more complex life situations. Through understanding each component of the cone of experience, it could be said that educational technology is not limited to the modern gadget that we have right now, but rather it is a broad concept that includes all the media that we can use to attain balance as we facilitate effective and meaningful learning. Verbal symbols are words, sentences, sounds, or other utterances that are said aloud in order to convey some meaning. The verbal symbol may be a word, an idea, concept, a scientific principle, a formula, a philosophic, a proricism, or any other representation of experience that has been classified in some verbal symbolism. Visual symbols. Visual symbols may be a picture or shape that has a particular meaning or represents a particular process or idea. Something visible that by association or convention represents something else that is visible, and something that represents or stands for something else. Usually by association or used to represent something abstract. Visual experience has a right predictive structure. Still pictures, radio, and recordings. This stage includes number of devices that might be classified roughly as one-dimensional age because they use only one sense organ, that is either eye or ear. That these materials are less direct than the audiovisual experiences. Motion pictures, television, and computers. Television's influence on language habits, vocabulary, consumer patterns, cultural values, and behavior patterns should not be underestimated. Research suggests that even the learning piece can be enhanced or improved through television learning. The present day, computers are not only compact, extremely powerful, and versatile, commonly accessible and easy to use. Computer has ended become an integral part of our teaching process and daily life. The television and motion pictures. The next level would be the level of television and motion pictures and still pictures, recordings, and radio. For television and motion pictures, it implies values and messages through television and films. On the other hand, still pictures, recordings, and radio are visual and audio devices that can be used by a group of learners that could enhance and extend learning experience. Exhibits. In education, normally the arranged working models exhibited in a meaningful way. Sometimes they may be series of photographs or of photographs mixed with models and charts. The opportunity to handle the materials by the participants makes the way to use more sense organs and learning by doing always help for meaningful or concrete learning. The level of study strips is followed by exhibits. It is somewhat a combination of some of the first level in the cone. Actually, exhibits are a combination of several mock-ups and models. Most of the time, exhibits are experiences that is for your ears only, but some exhibits include sensory experiences, which could be related to direct purposeful experiences, In this level, meanings ideas are presented to the learners in a more abstract manner. This experience allows students to see the meaning and relevance of things based on the different pictures and representations presented. The study trips. This level extends the learning experience through excursions and visits on the different places that are not available inside the classroom. Through this level, the learning experience will not be limited to the classroom setting, but rather extended in a more complex environment. The dramatized experiences. It is a visualized explanation of important fact, idea, or process through the use of pictures, drawing, film, and other types of media in order to facilitate clear and effective learning. In this level are shown based on how they are done. The contrived experience. In this level, representative models and mock-ups of reality are being used in order to provide an experience that as close as reality. This level is very practical and it makes learning experience most accessible to the learner. In this stage, it provides more concrete experience, even if not as concrete as direct experiences, that allows visualization that fosters better understanding of the concept.
Direct purposeful experiences. These are first-hand experiences which serve as the foundation of learning. In this level, more senses are used in order to build up the knowledge. Also, in this level, the learner learned by doing things by him or herself. Learning happens through actual hands-on experiences. This level also proves that educational technology is not limited to the modern gadgets and software that are commercially available nowadays. This shows that even the simple opportunity that you give to each child could help them learn. Each division represents a stage between two extremes: direct experience and pure abstraction. As we move from base of the cone to the up in order of decreasing directness, similarly, if we move down from pinnacle of the cone in the order of the decreasing abstraction. Based on experience of teaching at different levels, it was felt that there are many experiences and audiovisual materials which are missing in Dale's cone, and to be concluded by making a new model of experiences which is represented in the following step learning experiences model. The base of the step learning experiences model is direct and purposeful experience, which is always preferable for any new learner and any kind of learning concept, and gives first-hand experience in turn leads to the permanent learning. At the top of the cones is verbal or text. These are the least effective ways to introduce new content to students. The step learning experience model includes 17 different experiences. Experiences are meant to experience, not to evaluate or compare among them. Experiences are purely individualized. With the same kind of experience, one's perception may be differ from others. One can learn better than the other. Some people can learn better with the direct experiences, and others can learn easily with virtual experiences. Some through contrived, one-dimensional, and two-dimensional aids. John Dewey says that direct experience had the disadvantage of being limited in range and fatally restricted. Indeed, we learn many things indirectly, even better than the direct experience. The direct experience is not necessary or suitable for learning all kinds of concepts. James P. Lally and Robert H. Meller have examined many different studies about learning and retention and have concluded that the most learning and retention occurs when many different teaching methods are used in the classroom. They found that direct instruction or lecture is most commonly used in the classroom and has a significant effect on retention. Reading, although it appears to have little value on Dale's cone, would influence the students' ability to learn throughout their lives. When Dale researched learning and teaching methods, he found that much of what we found to be true of direct and indirect experience could be summarized in pyramid or pictorial device. He stated that a cone was not offered as a perfect or mechanically flawless picture to be taken absolutely literally. It was merely designed as a visual aid to help explain the interrelationships of the various types of audiovisual materials, as well as their individual positions in the learning process. It is important to note that Dale never intended the cone to depict a value judgment of experiences. In other words, his argument was that the more concrete experiences were better than more abstract ones. Dale believed that any and all of the approaches could and should be used, depending on the needs of the learner. Looking at Dale's cone of experience, one can realize that there can be numbers of models that can be used by the teacher to reach the learner, depending on the learner's need. Despite the pyramid having been debunked in many venues for decades, it continues to show up in educational presentations and literature. To conclude, the cone of experience is essentially a visual metaphor for the idea that learning activities can be placed in broad categories based on the extent to which they convey the concrete reference of real-life experiences. It has also been interpreted by many as a prescriptive formula or selecting instructional media. Dale's own explanations are nebulous enough to enable a wide variety of interpretations to find support. Finally, the fact that the cone has been taken seriously enough to be used in so many ways testifies to the robustness and attractiveness of Dale's visual metaphor references.